Well, how about it, folks? Two-thirds into the season, and it's week number 13. It's Thanksgiving week. Hope you all have a very happy Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday of the year. Turkey and football. I mean, what else can beat that, man? But yeah, it's week number 13 of the 2024 NFL season, and you're looking at the weekly champ of week 12 in my tournament. How about a 10-3 week? How about 77-24 since week 6? How about 120-59 on the season? And how about me reaching my goal overall of a 667 winning percentage, as I've exceeded that now with 670. So, yeah, all is right in the world with Pick'em, man. But this is week 13. Usually 13 is not a good omen. We got no teams on the bye this week. Everyone's playing. So let's get on to it, man. These are my week 13 picks. Let's keep it rolling. And starting things off on Thanksgiving, we got the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions going at it in Detroit as always. So, my thing with this is that the Bears are just a really bad team. I don't care, what people say about them. They just have bad luck and they can't seem to finish off a game and they lose in the most incredulous ways possible. As for the Lions, they are the total opposite. They are 10-1 on the season, another dominant win against the Indianapolis Colts. They have won 9 straight games. And yes, I'll say it again. I think they are the best team in the NFL. So, what can possibly go wrong for this game? Well, there's one thing that I am a little concerned about. It's that the Lions, they always play on Thanksgiving, but they have not played well on Thanksgiving lately. They have not won a Thanksgiving Day game since 2016. So, that's pretty alarming right there for Detroit. And even last year, they lost on Thanksgiving. But I feel like this Lions team is a lot better. Secondly, Detroit has a huge spread in this game. So can they be able to cover that? But seeing how they've been playing over basically all season, I think that it shouldn't be a problem for them. So, yeah, man, I'm going to go ahead and take the Lions to end their Thanksgiving losing streak and defeat the Chicago Bears to go to 11-1 and continue their quest for the number 1 seed in the NFC and, quite frankly, bring in Detroit home their first Vince Lombardi trophy. So I am going with the Lions to win this one. Second Thanksgiving Day game, it is not going to be dignified as one for me, as it is my first toilet bowl of the week. I got 2 of them this week. First at bat, we got the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas, as the Giants are 2-9. And they cut ties with Daniel Jones last week after starting Tommy DeVito. And let's just say the Giants did not play well. They got demolished at home by Tampa 30-7. Giants easily have the worst offense in the league, and they may be the worst team in the NFL, period. But going against the Dallas Cowboys, who have not won a home game all year, as they are the only professional sports team in North America that has not won a home game, if you can even fathom that. But I'll tell you what, the Cowboys, they shocked the world as they beat Washington in that crazy game, especially in the fourth quarter. I'll be getting more into that in a little bit. How about that kickoff return touchdown by Turpin right there, a spin move right there that make Michael Jackson proud, And then Parsons with the onside kick touchdown. I mean, wow. Where's this Cowboys team been all season? So, This is one of those games where I have to pick somebody. It's two teams that are not good, so I am going to go ahead and take the Cowboys to win this one over the Giants simply because I cannot confidently sit down here and say the Giants are going to win a game. Plus, the Cowboys just own them. So I am going to go with the Cowboys to beat the Giants once again and get a Thanksgiving Day dub in the toilet bowl. And wrapping up Thanksgiving, we got easily the best game on Thanksgiving as we got Thanksgiving Day night between the Miami Dolphins and the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. So, thing with this, Miami, they have been playing well, and they took it to the Patriots on Sunday. Once again, they always beat the Patriots in Miami, as it seems. But here's the thing about this. They are heading on up to the frozen tundra, and it will be frozen. At least it should be. That's what the weather's calling for on Thanksgiving night against the Green Bay Packers. Why do I say that? Because the temperature at kickoff is projected to be at 27 degrees. And the Miami Dolphins notoriously do not play well in cold weather, especially when it's under 30 degrees. And Tua, especially in sub 40, sub 30 temperatures, has not played his best football. In fact, he's played some of his worst football. And then you get the Packers, who are just relishing in this type of weather. They whacked the 49ers on Sunday 38-10. Granted, the 49ers are just real banged up right now, but Green Bay, I mean, they just dominated from start to finish against San Fran. And quite frankly, I have no reason to believe that they won't do it here. I am taking the Green Bay Packers to continue their hot streak on a cold night in Green Bay and beat up on the Dolphins. I will not make this my lock of the week, but I do think it'll be a good game, and I got Green Bay winning it. So, yeah, I'm going to take Green Bay to keep up the momentum and drop Miami to 5-7. So, yeah, give me the Packers here. Now we got Black Friday. Once again, second year in a row, we got a Black Friday game. As you got AC/DC in the background right here in this pick right here. As we got the Las Vegas Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs going at it in Arrowhead. So the Raiders, their free fall season continues. They're 2-9 on the season. They got swept by the Denver Broncos. And Kansas City, I really don't know if I can confidently lock up the Chiefs anymore for this season because the Chiefs, they're 10-1. They're winning games. But really, they had a struggle against the Carolina Panthers. I don't know. If I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm a little concerned, you know. But regardless, Kansas City got the job done. They're 10-1 on the season. Now they're playing the Raiders, who they always seem to beat. However, I will say this. Remember last year on Christmas, Raiders went into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs. Maybe that can be the case again, but let's be honest, I don't see this happening twice in a row with the Raiders. I am going to go ahead and take the Kansas City Chiefs to improve to 11-1 because I think the Chiefs got to play with a chip on their shoulder in this game, seeing that Buffalo can actually clinch the AFC East this week. And Kansas City's going to want to put the pressure on that if Buffalo does lose. So I am going to go ahead and take Kansas City to defeat the Raiders pretty soundly. This is not my lock of the week. I'll be getting to that one in a little bit, but I'm taking Kansas City to win this one over the Raiders. Okay, Sunday slate of games, kicking things off. We got the Los Angeles Chargers and the Atlanta Falcons. This one is in Atlanta as we got a battle of the choke bowl, two of the most notorious chokers in NFL history between the Chargers and the Falcons. So LA, I will concede they are playing some good football. They dropped a tough one at home, though, to the Ravens, but they are still very much alive in the AFC playoff picture. And on the other hand, you got to take a look at the Atlanta Falcons. So, I'm starting to lose a little faith in the Falcons. They got off to a good start. Now they're kind of slumping a little bit. And especially with the way they just got destroyed by the Denver Broncos in their last game, 38-6. I don't know if I can confidently sit down here and say that the Falcons, I can pick them to win a game. It's going to be tough. They're good they're okay defensively, but the offense has just really been quiet lately, and that's a concerning factor if you're a Falcons fan right there, because they're going up against the Chargers, who have a stout defense, and they're number 1 in scoring defense. So that's it right there, man. This is probably not a good matchup for Atlanta. Atlanta does have an advantage in my opinion, as they do have the rest factor as they're coming off their bye week. But I really don't know if that's going to make a difference. I can't trust Atlanta right now, so I will roll with the Chargers to rebound after their tough loss to the Ravens and improve to 8-4. So I am going to go with the Chargers to win this one over Atlanta. Next up, we got a matchup between the Houston Texans, and they will be taking on the likes of, I'm sorry, I'm stalling here a little bit. I just had a little bit of a brain fart, but you got the Houston Texans going on down to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. Like I said, a little bit of a brain fart, but yeah, Houston at Jacksonville. I said it a couple weeks ago with the Texans, as I think they're a little bit of fake news, and it's looking that way right now. They lost at home to Tennessee, a Titans offense that's been depleted all season, non-existent for the majority of the season, and they gave up 32 points to them. And Houston had one of the best defenses in the league going to that game. Houston has not been playing well lately, and I think they're very fortunate that they play in such a weak division, because they would be out of the playoff picture if they weren't in the AFC South right now. As for Jacksonville, they're 2-9 on the season. Their miserable season continues. I believe Jacksonville's coming off their bye, though, but still, it doesn't matter. I am going to go with the Texans to win this one over the Jaguars, simply because Jacksonville, they're just atrocious. I think Houston, if there's a get-it-right game for them, I think this is the week to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Texans to rebound after that humiliating loss to the Tennessee Titans. So give me Houston here. All righty, next up, we got the Indianapolis Colts and the New England Patriots. This one is in Foxborough, as this is my second toilet bowl of the week, as you can see right here, as the Patriots are coming off another miserable performance. They lost in Miami once again to the Dolphins. And the Colts, they are coming off getting destroyed by the Detroit Lions on Sunday, as Indy's mediocre season continues. So it's a battle of just a very mediocre team against an awful team in New England. So that's why it's another toilet bowl, in my opinion. So I really don't think there's much to say. Indy's offense has been a major disappointment this season outside of a couple of games. And if Anthony Richardson can stop whining and crying, and he can actually lead the pack, and he can actually play up to his abilities, I think Indy would be in a lot better shape. Their defense is still horrendous, and going up against New England, who I think needs to just run the ball hog wild on Indy in this game. And for as much as I want to believe that Drake May can turn his young career around, it's just hard to have any confidence with the Patriots right now. So I really don't know who to go with here. And typically in situations like this, I'd go with the home team. but I'm going to lean more towards the team who I think has more of an identity. And to me, that's the Indianapolis Colts. I think if Jonathan Taylor runs the ball effectively here and the Colts defense steps up and they make life miserable for Drake May, I think Indy has a really sound chance at winning this game. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Colts to win this one over the Patriots. Next up, we got the Seattle Seahawks flying out to Jersey to play the New York Jets, as the Seahawks are first place in the NFC West at 6-5, and their defense lived up to form. They held Arizona to 6 points, 2 field goals, and they won 16-6, Super Bowl 9 score. And they are 6-5. So good for the Seahawks right there. That's the kind of defense I know they're capable of having, but it needs to show up more consistently. As for the New York Jets, they're coming off their bye week, but I really don't think it's going to make much of a difference because the Jets have just had a miserable season and Aaron Rodgers is washed up. He should just retire. He should have retired at the beginning of the season. And now the Jets are paying the price for it. They got no momentum going for them whatsoever. And Aaron Rodgers typically has some poor games against the Seahawks. And I think that trend is going to continue right here. So I'm going to go with Seattle to improve to 7-5, tighten their grip in the NFC West, increase their lead. And the Jets, I mean, they're pretty much just playing for the season to end. So, I mean, New York's defense, they might keep them in the game and their run game might get going, but I'm leaning towards Seattle's defense in this one and their explosive offense to give the Jets a hard time. So give me Seattle to win this one over the Jets. Then we got, in my opinion, what should be a very, very angry Washington Commanders team, and they are heading home, or they are staying home rather, to face the Tennessee Titans. So, like I just emphasized, Washington was 7-2 3 weeks ago, and they looked like they would soundly clinch the NFC East. And ever since then, they've dropped 3 in a row, and they're 7-5 on the season. They're still in good. They're still in a good position to be in the playoffs, but their chances of winning the NFC East have taken a big hit, especially with losing to Philadelphia. And they've lost 3 straight, and now they lose another divisional game to Dallas. As I mentioned earlier, Washington was down 10 points. Jaden Daniels had that incredible touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin, missed the extra point, and then the onside kick went for a touchdown. Just a very, very bad loss for Washington. And for as much as I think that, A, Washington will still be in the playoffs, and B, Jaden Daniels will win Rookie of the Year, I won't be so sure about it now, as you got a quarterback in Denver by the name of Bo Nix who continues to play well. So it's not as clear-cut as you might think. And if I'm a Washington fan, I'd be concerned about the team right now. Then you take a look at Tennessee. Like I mentioned, they upset the Texans. They put 32 on them. But that doesn't mean I think that the Titans have saved their season. I still think they're a terrible team. But now, with as much as I think that their defense can keep them in this game, going up against Jaden Daniels, which, let's face it, he is a rookie quarterback. He's just lighting the world on fire in his rookie year, but he's still a rookie. It's going to be kind of a tough test. But like I said, Washington, I think they are very, very upset coming into this one, and I think they just got to unleash all hell on the Titans in this one. So I'm going to go with Washington to snap their losing streak, get back on the winning track, get to 8-5, and reassert themselves in the NFC. So I'm going to take the Commanders to get it done over the Titans. We got my matchup, folks, and it's my rivalry of the week. The Pittsburgh Steelers at 8-3, staying in Ohio, heading down to southwestern Ohio to take on the Bengals, who are 4-7, coming off their bye week. And as I said, we're 8-3. We had a very crappy loss to the Browns last Thursday in the snow, where Mike Tomlin inexplicably accepted an illegal touching penalty at the worst possible time and then called a timeout. The offense was stagnant. The defense allowed a lot of big plays, and we fell for a big trap game against the Browns, and we are 8-3. I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not overreacting about the loss. It's just, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth as a Steeler fan, because it's happened way too often with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the biggest advantage for us going into this game is that we are on 10 days rest, but Cincinnati counters that with them coming off their bye. So I guess the rest factor is a benefit for both teams in this instance right here. So yeah, it kind of makes it a moot point right here. So what to possibly say for this, as I'm going to have my preview out hopefully on Thanksgiving morning. But what to say for this is that Cincinnati's offense has been incredible this season. They've been let down heavily by the defense, and that's why they have 7 losses. They're playing like a desperate team, and I think the Bengals have to know that coming into this game. They got to play pissed off, and they got to play like they have something to lose. You know what I mean? Because they can't afford another loss. And I'm sure they would love nothing more than to defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers in their stadium, drop them to their second straight loss, and put serious doubts in the minds of Steeler fans. As for the Steelers, kind of the opposite. The offense has been stalling lately, but the defense, while still good, it has looked suspect at times. And if this defense is not up to par against the likes of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, who are easily having the best seasons of their career, it's going to be a long afternoon down in Cincinnati, plain and simple. So, like I said, Cincinnati's defense has let them down, and for good reason. They are mediocre to awful in just about every defensive category this season. And the Steelers, we have had sparks on offense where we were putting points on the board and we were racking up yards and we're making a lot of big plays. That has to happen again, 100%. So this one was difficult for me to pick, to be honest with you. But in the end, I'm going to make the Pittsburgh Steelers my upset of the week for the third time in the last 4 weeks. I believe we can go down to Cincinnati and defeat the Bengals. I like us defensively in this game. If it comes to a shootout, I'm not going to be very confident, but I think that with the way Cincinnati's defense has been playing, I think this is 100% a get-it-right game for the offense right here. If Arthur Smith opens the playbook a little bit and we actually finish up some drives for a change and don't rely on the leg of Boswell to win us a game, we can absolutely beat the Bengals. We can. And I have confidence that we will. So, like I said, this is just at a minimum right here, as I'm going to have more of it in my pregame. But this is my upset of the week. I am taking the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this one over the Bengals because Cincinnati is favored to win this game. So I'm calling it an upset. Give me the Steelers. Next up, we got the Arizona Cardinals flying on out to Minnesota to play the Vikings, as the Cardinals are 6-5. They are by far the most unpredictable team in the NFL. They dropped one to the Seahawks in Seattle, 16-6. Their offense was just completely shut down by Seattle's defense. And it just seems more just like post-October Kyler Murray, where he just never has a consistent pace with him. As for Minnesota, they are 9-2 on the season as they get an overtime win against the Chicago Bears after a series of wild events took place in Chicago. The Vikings had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, and they allowed the Bears right back in it to force overtime. And then the Vikings defense stood up, and they got the job done over the Bears. Excuse me. So for this matchup here, I think that Minnesota's defense is definitely going to be the X factor because I say it week in and week out about Brian Flores' scheming. And it's that he comes up with some of the best schemes on defense to limit some of the best offenses. And Arizona's offense is capable of being explosive, but like I said, they just lack that consistency. So, yeah, man. I mean, I really don't know if I'm truly sold on the Cardinals or if they benefit from the NFC West. I kind of lean towards the latter right now. But regardless, I am going to go with the Minnesota Vikings to get their 10th win of the season and defeat the Arizona Cardinals, as I just think the Vikings have more going for them in this game with the defense, Sam Darnold continuing to make headlines and be the biggest surprise story of the NFL this season. So, yeah, I'm going to go Minnesota to win this one over the Cardinals and get win number 10, dropping Arizona to their second consecutive loss. So give me the Vikings. All right, later slate of Sunday games. First up, we got a game that I will never not think of when it comes to the 2018 NFC Championship. We got the Rams and the Saints in New Orleans. Like I said, I always think about the NFC Championship between these two with the infamous no call that allowed the Rams to go to the Super Bowl, where they only put up 3 points against the Patriots. But it's years later. I don't think either of these teams are on that same level, not even close to it. But the Rams, I feel like they are still a team that's itching to make a run late in the season. And if they have another performance like they did against the Eagles, then I think it'll kind of make it a moot point because Saquon Barkley absolutely decimated the Rams on Sunday Night Football. And with them going up against the Saints, who have Alvin Kamara at their disposal, who's to say it can't happen again? But the Saints don't have a good run defense either. So it's going to come down to me personally about who runs the ball more efficiently. So yeah, this was another tricky one right here because I feel like the Saints do have some momentum. They are coming off their bye as well. Last time they played, they demolished the Cleveland Browns, which I don't think is impressive, to be honest with you. And then the Rams, they just had that ugly showing against the Philadelphia Eagles. So this kind of does feel like a game the Saints would win, in my opinion. But I think I'm going to lean towards the Rams here simply because I feel like they can step up to the ranks a little bit more than the Saints will, and I trust them more. The Rams, it was just their second loss in their last 6 games, and I think that they might be on the right track of turning their season around and possibly sneaking in the playoffs again. Whereas the Saints, I really don't know if I can completely trust them this year. So I'm going to take the Rams to win this one over the Saints and get back on the right track and pick up a win in the very important NFC. So give me LA here. Next, we got the Tampa Bay Bucs and the Carolina Panthers. This one is down in Charlotte as the Bucs, they just absolutely steamrolled the Giants 30-7. Baker Mayfield taunted Tommy DeVito on that touchdown, which I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, Tampa Bay, they snapped their 4-game losing streak, and they are 5-6, trying to keep the pressure on the Falcons in the NFC South despite getting swept by them. As for Carolina, they continue to be a bad team, but they surprisingly gave the Chiefs a really hard time in Charlotte. As the Chiefs were my lock last week, and Kansas City did win 30-27, but it went down to the wire. So maybe Carolina isn't all that bad. I mean, weeks ago I said they were the worst team in the NFL, but I don't think they're the worst team anymore. Sure, they're still a bad team, but I don't think they're the worst team in the NFL. And now they're going up against a division rival, and divisional games, especially in the NFC South, are always unpredictable. So I really don't think this game is as clear-cut as people make it out to be. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. For that matter, as much as I think Tampa can blow them out, and for as much as I think that, the Panthers, they really just don't stand a chance when it comes to, Tampa's high-octane passing offense. If Carolina can hang in there against a team like the Chiefs, I think they can hang in there against a team like the Bucs. So I'll make this my spread of the week, actually. I am going to take the Bucs to win this game, but I'm going to take Carolina with the points. Tampa's favored by 6 as I'm recording this video. So, yeah, I think Carolina can cover that, honestly. So I'm going to take the Bucs to win this one, but I got Carolina covering. I'm going to say 26-23. Tampa wins, Carolina covers, and we'll go from there. So, yeah, Bucs for the win, Panthers for the points. We got my game of the week right here, and I think it should be everybody else's. The Philadelphia Eagles flying on over to Baltimore to play the Ravens in the Bird Bowl. As the Eagles have won 7 straight games, they're 9-2 on the season. And like I just mentioned a little bit ago, Saquon Barkley ripped the Rams a new one on Sunday night. 255 yards on the ground for Saquon. 2 rushing touchdowns of 70 yards or more. And he just exploded. And he has to be in the MVP talks. He has to be right there with Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, quite honestly, Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. He has to be right there in the MVP talks. Saquon Barkley continues to just gash everybody. And he has been the engine of Philly's offense, and they continue to play well. The only thing that I really have against Philly right here is that they are leading in total defense. I still don't think I can fully trust their pass defense, and I think that's a big advantage for the Ravens right there because they have been slinging the ball. Well, Lamar has been slinging the ball very efficiently this season, so this is definitely a big test for the Eagles' pass defense here because, like I said, they do lead the league in total defense, but I really still am not sold on their pass defense. As for the Ravens, Derrick Henry had a solid night against the Chargers. Justice Hill had that 51-yard touchdown run. Like I just mentioned, Lamar Jackson's been slinging the ball. He had that great touchdown pass to Rashad Bateman. I think it was from like 40 yards out. And the Ravens, they got a much-needed win over the Chargers, taking advantage of the fact that the Steelers lost on Thursday. And they are now 8-4 on the season. They're back to a half game behind Pittsburgh. This one was very difficult for me to pick because, like I say it every time, basically, when the Ravens go up against an NFC team, they have had their way against the NFC since Lamar Jackson became the starter. And the Eagles, they, you know, they're just on a tear right now, man. I think it's fitting that as of this recording that the line is even because I really don't I really could see this game going either way. However, I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to win this one because while Philly leads the league in total defense, the Ravens defense on the other hand, especially their pass defense has been dreadful. Baltimore 31st in passing defense. And I think if Jalen Hurts is to come out here and start bombing the ball downfield, because I think they're getting Devontae Smith back in this game, and we know the type of dynamic player that A.J. Brown is, that's a big X factor right there in this game. So I may regret this, I may not, but I am going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to go into Baltimore and beat the Ravens and hand them just their second loss against the NFC since Lamar Jackson became the starter. So I'm going to go with Philly here in a very good game of the week. Now we got Sunday Night Football. Check your local listings, as this could have been a game of the week, but I don't think it's going to be a game of the week now. As a matter of fact, I think it might be the total opposite. San Francisco 49ers and the Buffalo Bills. This one is in Buffalo. 49ers got destroyed by the Green Bay Packers 38-10, and they are still very injured coming into this game. And now it just got even worse as Brock Purdy and Nick Bosa will both miss this game for San Francisco, and they are injured. My, oh my, it's not looking good for the 49ers. Buffalo is 9-2. I said earlier they had a chance to clinch the AFC East. And yeah, Buffalo's just on a tear. So much so that I'm going to lock up the Bills this week. That's right. This is my lock of the week. San Francisco's been very inconsistent this season, even with the times that they were healthy. And the Bills, they've looked like a well-oiled machine all season. I don't see how a very undermanned 49ers team is going to be able to stop a prolific offense in the Buffalo Bills, and that's going to be my determining factor here. Buffalo wins this one. They're my lock of the week. Concluding week 13, we got Monday Night Football in Denver, as it is the Cleveland Browns and the Denver Broncos going at it, as the Browns are coming off a Thursday win over us. They are 3-8 on the season, and they got 10 days of rest, so that's an advantage for the Browns right off the bat right there. I think they need to go with Jameis Winston for beyond as well. Screw Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's absolutely worthless. I think the Browns got to go with Jameis Winston. You know what I mean? And their defense needs to step up to the reins as well. But they are, Myles Garrett just had a phenomenal game against us. And, it's just more ammo for people who say that Myles Garrett is better than TJ Watt. That game certainly does help his case. And the Broncos, they are coming off a win over the Raiders. Bo Nix continues to make headlines. He continues to assert himself in the Rookie of the Year talks. Denver's defense is still strong. And I don't know if Jameis Winston, despite him throwing an interception against us and Cleveland having 2 other turnovers, now they got to go up against another strong defense in the Broncos that can be physical up front and cause turnovers themselves. Plus, the Browns historically, they have a rough time playing in Denver. and they just have a hard time playing the Broncos, period. I think they took an L to the Broncos last year when Russell Wilson was the quarterback. And now they're going up against Bo Nix as a rookie. Now they're going up against basically that same Denver defense. Despite the Browns having extra days of rest, I am going to go with the Broncos to win this game and climb further into the AFC playoff picture. So, yeah, I just don't know if I'm ready to fully begin to pick the Browns again, and that's my deciding factor. I'm going to take Denver to win this one over the Browns just because I think the Broncos are just simply better. So give me Denver here. That'll do it. Week 13 picks. Let's continue the hot streak, man. Let's have another solid week. And this is Mac checking on out for the day. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And I am gone.